Hi there, my name's Colin Gray and I run my own web strategy and online learning business. And I'm also a researcher in design and innovation in business. In this presentation, I'm just going to talk to you a little about this statement. Design is a problem-solving activity that requires a precise definition of the problem at the start. So there's two assumptions here that I'm going to talk about in the next 5 minutes. And the first is the idea that design is a problem-solving activity. I think it is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I feel that way. The next assumption is that design needs a precise definition of the problem at the start, and that's another statement I really agree with, and again I'll explain why. My design background is digital. I've designed websites since the late 90s, getting in there when patterned backgrounds and flashing logos were still considered pretty. So some of my talk will be a wee bit based towards digital and the web, but I know that design's a hugely wide-reaching concept. It touches pretty much everything we use in the world around us, so I'll make sure to put it in context as we go. So let's look at the two parts in turn. The first part of the statement makes the assumption that design is a problem-solving activity, so it's worth talking a bit about how true that is. And I suppose we can't really tell without figuring out first what design actually is. It can take a whole range of forms, from print design to product design to building design to digital design, but whatever form you find it, it's always created to fit certain requirements. In print design, the requirements might be to persuade a person to buy a product, or to convince someone to read an article. In product design, the main requirements might be to make something easy to use, or more commonly, to make it look cool, to make it attractive. In digital design, a website, say, you might be required to sell, to be easy to use, to be attractive all in one. Whatever the requirements, you create a design that aims to fit those requirements. So this is where the problem solving comes in. A client will give you those set of requirements and it's your job to figure out how to achieve them. How do you create a design that ticks all of the boxes and hits the targets that the client has set for you? You need to solve the problem of creating the ideal design to achieve those aims. So the second part of that question should follow pretty naturally then. If we take it as read that I've convinced you that design is a problem solving activity, then we need to figure out the real details of that problem so we can start to solve it. After all, it's pretty hard to solve a problem that we haven't fully worked out yet. So here's where it gets a little complicated because it's all about the people involved, and people are always complicated. You've got two groups here. You've got the clients that we've already mentioned. They are the sponsors of the design, and we've got the users. They're the people that will eventually consume the design however it's presented. The clients are the first problem to define. We need to understand their aims first and foremost. These are defined partly by the requirements that they've drawn up, but requirements are often very high level and a wee bit vague. Sell a product, increase ease of use, whatever. What we really need to know is the exact problem that the client wants to solve, and that becomes the start of our problem solving process. The definition we need is around the problems the client's having. What's stopping them achieving their aim? The design needs to help them achieve that aim, and it has to be designed specifically to overcome the problems in the way. Only once we know the tiny details of those aims and of the current barriers that's getting in the way can we really start on the design. Then we can make sure every element of the design is targeted at achieving that aim and overcoming those problems. There's no wasted space and no missed chances. Okay, so the second set of people involved are the users. They're the ones whose actions will help achieve the client's aims. This could be to buy something, to go somewhere, to take an action, or simply to enjoy, to share, to engage with the design. But to get a user to take an action, we need to offer someone that fits, again, a problem they have, something that they currently want or need, or a barrier that they have in front of them. We need to define these needs, these wants, these barriers by meeting them, understanding them, and figuring out how they see the world. So this all sounds familiar. Same as the client, problems, barriers, aims, needs. So now we have two sets of well-defined problems and aims. The next problem for us is aligning these findings. How do you cater to the user's needs so that they're convinced and able to take the action the client is looking for? Only with a really clear definition of both user groups' problems and aims can you create a design that aligns both, and only by aligning them can you really create a really successful design. And talking of success, to finish off, it's another great reason for a clear definition at the start. Evaluation of success is a really key part of the whole design process. But unless you define your problem and the aims you have in solving it, it's pretty hard to do any kind of evaluation of success at the end. And without evaluating how successful we were, we're never going to be able to improve our skills, approaches, or results. We'll keep on designing average products, buildings, websites, and adverts, always failing to be really great or to make a difference. So that's me. Thanks for listening.